Chapter 1 to 6. My name is Jake and I am your average guy, nothing special, just a man who goes to work from 9 to 5. My life is really monotonous, sometimes I wish something interesting would happen. James - Hey Jake, it's 5:10 p.m. work time is over, unless you want to work overtime. That's my work buddy James. I have known him for 3 years and he is a pretty chill guy, cool to hang around with, but he is a real nerd when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons. I have tried that game before and while I enjoyed it, I still apparently don't understand the greatness of the game that James calls it. Jake - yeah, I am coming, just had to send in the last paper to the manager. James okay, then hurry the hell up, I have a Dungeon and Dragons game to play with my buddies, so come on. After I sent the last paper, I turned off the computer and started walking to the staircase with James in front of me. It only took a few minutes to walk down 10 or so flights of stairs and reach the lobby. Before we left, we said bye to the receptionist. James - so what's got you all down in the dumps? Jake - you could tell? James - really dude, how long have we known each other? 3 years, and we sit just across from each other in the office. Jake - it's nothing. James - come on man, just tell me it already, you got me curious now. Jake - HAAA fine, it's just that my life has been boring ever since I couldn't make it into higher leagues of kickboxing. I mean I know I am not super talented, but I just loved kickboxing, and realizing all the hard work I did was for nothing for years is really demoralizing. James well, I can't really sympathize with you considering I have never worked as hard as you for just my dream, but something my grandmother used to say is people who work hard will be rewarded one way or another. I don't know if I believe her, but she believed it so I guess that's all that matters. Jake - yeah, okay whatever you say bud. While James and I were walking down the bustling road, we came to a corner and stopped as the light was red. After about a minute, the light turned green and we walked across the road to the other side. Once we were on the other side of the road, we heard some loud sounds of metal crashing against each other and some car honks. Everyone, including us, turned around and found a semi-truck heading straight for us. After a split second, everyone realized what was happening and started shouting and screaming while running and pushing people out of the way. I started running to the left of the road when I realized James wasn't with me. I turned around and saw James on the ground. He must have slipped or been pushed down, I thought. So I tried to run back, squeezing through the crowd, and finally got to him, but by the time I got to him the truck was only about 12 meters away, and going at that speed I wouldn't have enough time to pull James away with me. Fuck it, I ran back here to save this stupid man from dying, and I am not about to let my efforts go to waste, I thought. So I used all the strength I could muster and threw him with everything I had. I am grateful that James is on the small side while I am quite big. When I looked back at the truck, it was only about 1.5 meters away from my position. Now I know it may seem like it has been a while, but it has only been about 8 seconds since I first heard the cars honking. James - no. Jake. That was the last thing I heard before I was assaulted by immense pain throughout my whole body for barely a split second before everything went black. Soul - damn that truck hurt like a bitch, lucky I barely even felt it, so anyway where am I? Am I not supposed to be dead? Soul - looking around or something like that I see nothing but darkness, so I am going to assume I am dead. Now that we got that out the way I hope my father is going to be okay, he may not have been the best father but he was always there when I needed him most. HIA. Soul - now that I think about it my life was kinda bland, I had a normal life and nothing really got me happy or excited except spending time with my father, watching anime, or kickboxing. Soul - thinking about it, the reason I got into kickboxing was because of anime, specifically the Dragon Ball series. I just love watching them fight and power up, training to get stronger, and just watching the characters grow mentally and emotionally. That's why Vegeta has got to be my favorite character. He was first introduced as a crazy killer and slowly became a fighter, husband, and a father that you could count on towards the end of the show, and no matter what he always kept his pride with him. Don't know how long it has been since I died, time seems to be extremely chaotic here. Don't know how I know, I just know, confusing, but it is what it is. While having an inner monologue with myself, I start seeing some light in the distance, and as time passes it keeps getting closer and closer until a dense bright white sphere shows up in front of me. I am curious what this is, as this is the first thing in here other than darkness. Hello soul, I am the overseer of all reality in existence, could you tell me how you made it in my domain? Soul - what? Who said that, where are you? I am in front of you, soul. Now can you tell me how you made it into my domain? Soul - wait, you're the giant white sphere. Yes. Soul-O. So about your question, I don't know, all I remember is dying, anime, my father, and kickboxing. That is interesting for a soul to have managed to not only stay self-conscious after death, but to even absorb some of my excess energy in only a couple 100 million years. Soul-Is it that amazing to be able to, what? A couple 100 million years. Did I hear that correctly, or am I going crazy? Yes, you heard correctly. Soul-, so that means my father is dead? Yes. But because of you absorbing some of my energy, it has acted according to your subconscious, and has helped your father become a powerful person in a world of absorbing energy from the so-called heavens and using it to strengthen yourself. Soul-, so my father is okay and alive, that's good. Then could you send me to him then? I could, but your father was only baptized by my energy a couple of years after he had gone through the reincarnation cycle, so he has lost all memory of his past life. Soul-, that means he has forgotten about me, huh, that sucks. So what do I do now? You can stay with me for eternity and help me oversee all of reality. Soul-, is there another option? Or you could reincarnate in another world of your choice. Soul-, when you say world of my choice, do you mean any world, even worlds of fiction? I am the overseer of all reality. Any story you could think of has already been given birth in the form of a universe, and if you so wish I could create a universe from scratch, such a thing is as easy as it gets here. Soul-, then I would like to reincarnate into the Dragon Ball universe, please. Then that shall be done, but before that, I must take my energy back from you, as the energy you have could destroy that universe the moment your soul goes there. But as you have worked hard to acquire that energy, I shall convert the energy into perks or wishes for you. Soul-, did I just hear that right? I will get to have wishes too. Yes. Soul-, so how many wishes do I have? There is no numerical amount of wishes, as some wishes will take more energy to fulfill and some might take barely any energy at all. Soul-, so if I wish to be born as a Saiyan, how much energy would that use? You will still have 95% energy left. Soul-, okay, that is better than I thought. Then I would like to be born as an ancient, legendary Saiyan. You have 35% left. Soul-, what? Why did it take so much energy? Being an ancient Saiyan would only cost 15% in total, same for the legendary Saiyan, but combining those two traits into one body took far more energy than just 30%. Soul-, I guess that makes sense, just having either one of those traits would make me powerful, so having both would be like breaking the balance of the world. Soul-, so, what should I wish for next? I know having the legendary Saiyan would already be a hard enough task to not go berserk, but to have the ancient Saiyan on top of that would make it impossible. So I would like to have an inherently strong mind. That is a good wish, because while your soul may be capable of suppressing the emotion that is anger from being bathed in my energy for so long, your brain has not, so you would have been so overwhelmed by anger at birth that your brain would have stopped working. 20% energy remaining. Soul-, I am really lucky that I just remember about the Broly movie, or I would have died just after being born, and that would be pathetic. Soul-, I think this one is a necessity. I would like to be an anomaly so that no being will be capable of seeing my past or future, and I am hidden from beings from the future. I don't want to be killed by some future enemy when I am still a weak child. That shall leave you with 5% energy left. Soul-, I would like to be born 5 years before Frieza destroys planet Vegeta, but I would like to have been born on a planet that has a far harsher atmosphere and gravity than planet Vegeta. I wish to get strong before I have my fun and adventure around the universe. That will leave you with 2% energy left. Soul-, I thought that would have used up all my energy. And there is nothing that I want or I think I need. I know I would like to have a fated lover somewhere in the universe, and one day our paths shall cross with each other. That is all of the energy. I wish you a good life, little soul. Soul-, thanks for everything, overseer. Hope I don't see you again for a long time. Next thing I knew, I felt like I was being sucked into something, and I blacked out. When I came to, I felt like I was in a small area that was not only warm and comfortable, but it also gave me a strong sense of safety and love. Assuming I am in the place I think I am, I hope it doesn't take several months for me to be born. As I will have nothing to do for a while, let's try and see if I can feel or manipulate my ki. While was trying to feel the ki in S body? Had no idea that Saiyan parents were fighting on a planet that they were sent to conquer. On a planet in a system with 2 stars, you could see multiple beings ganging up and fighting a man and woman like their life depended on it. They did not even look or care for their comrades when they were killed, they would wind up just fighting more fiercely than before. But even with more than a dozen people fighting just 2 people, they still couldn't defeat the so-called enemies. The natives of this planet called themselves elves. They were a group that believed the most beautiful and strongest deserved the right to rule. The elves looked similar to the Saiyans, except they had almost no muscle at all. They had long ears, no tail, and their hair was all long and hanging down. Native - you bastard. Die for me. After they said that, the native flew through the group of people and shot a ki wave so big that it could cover an entire body. The ki wave shot incredibly fast towards the man with bushy black hair and a brown tail. After a second, the ki wave was just about to hit the man, but suddenly the man put his arms in front and directed the ki wave to the sky, where it slowly dissipated. Onan - haha, is that the best you fools have? If so, just die then so you can save me some time. After saying that, Onan blocked a kick from another native and used the force from the kick to propel himself right towards the native who attacked him. Now that he was right in front of the native, he grabbed the native by the neck and launched a ki blast on his face at point-blank range, completely vaporizing his skin and muscles, leaving just his skull. Onan - hm. Pathetic. Dear, let us hurry and finish up these weaklings, we are on a time limit after all. After saying that, he threw the corpse towards a group of natives and fired a few ki blasts that exploded on the corpse right in front of the group, effectively launching them in different directions. While that was taking place somewhere not too far away, a group of natives was fighting a woman who had spiky black hair and a brown tail, the same as the man from before. Women - do we have to? It was just starting to get somewhat enjoyable. Onan - yes Zuxi, besides these people are kinda weak, the only thing that let them survive so long against us was their number after all. The woman now named Zuxi, who was enjoying her fight, got annoyed and pushed all her enemies away with a ki sphere that erupted from her body at the center. Zuxi - tch. Fine, you weaklings are lucky, now you get to have a quick and painless death. When you meet King Yema in the afterlife, be sure to tell him that the Saiyan named Zuxi killed you. After saying those words, Zuxi's power doubled and she let loose a barrage of ki blasts at every enemy she could currently see. Most of the natives were not even in a correct stance to defend or counter her normal attacks, let alone now that she is using her full power against them. Several ki blasts hit the natives and explosion after explosion sounded across the land, and smoke took up most of the area where they reside. After several seconds, the smoke cleared the way to find nothing but corpses that had several severe burn marks all over their bodies. A second later, the bodies all fell from the sky into the ocean below. After seeing that everyone has died, Zuxi powered down and started flying towards Onan, who has just got done killing the last native group. Zuxi - hahaha, that was not a bad workout, and for the 15th time I have killed more natives than you did, so I get to pick the mission again. Onan - dear, how could you know whether or not you could have killed more enemies than me? Maybe I have killed more than you did. Zuxi - hm. Do you want to know how many enemies I killed this time? Don't worry, since I am feeling happy, I shall inform you I have killed 36,234 of these so-called elves. If you have killed more than me, then please enlighten me. Onan - have you used your scouter to make sure no one has survived? Zuxi - do you take me for a fool? Just because I only think about fighting doesn't mean I am stupid. Onan - dear, I never said you were stupid, I just wanted to make sure we left no one alive and we did our job properly. Zuxi - first you say I am stupid, now you say I am an incompetent Saiyan who can't even do something as simple as eradicating a small civilization. Humph. I am going to my space pod. Onanha women. Onan - hold up dear, I am coming. About 15 minutes later, you could see Zuxi and Onan camping, roasting an animal right next to what looked like space pods. While they were waiting for the food to be done cooking, they were having a conversation amongst themselves. Onan - I got a transmission that Prince Vegeta was born with a power level of 2000. That is the highest ever recorded in Saiyan history. How much do you think our child will have? Zuxi - dear, the baby is mine. Do you think it could be any lower than Prince Vegeta's? Don't you know who I am? I am Onan - yes dear, you are the 2 most powerful Saiyan, just below King Vegeta, I have heard you say it several times already. Zuxi - glad that you know. But about our baby, considering that my power level is 23,000 and yours is 20,000, our child should be above Prince Vegeta, but we won't know until he is born. Onan, I guess you're right. Ah yes, the food has just finished, let's finish this and then report back to planet Vegeta. Zuxi - well let's hurry, then the baby will be born in about half a year, and I don't want to give birth in a small space pod. After Zuxi and Onan finished eating the food, they got up and got in the space pods and sat down. After sitting down, the door closed, and a few minutes later, the space pod started floating as they suddenly just shot off out of the planet's atmosphere, heading in a specific direction which we could only assume is planet Vegeta. I don't know how long it's been, but I have finally made some progress on sensing my ki. Now the only problem is going to be manipulating it, and that is going to be extremely tough. Still, considering that my soul has been bathed in that energy, I hope it has increased my talent and comprehension to ki-related matters. Feeling around, I notice that this time I have a body of some sort. I can't move around much, but I should only be a month or two away from being birthed. I can't wait. Somewhere in the deep darkness of space, you can see what looks like two comets shooting through space, one only slightly ahead of the other one. But of course, it is just the parents of our soon-to-be-born MC. It has been about 4.5 months since our two Saiyans left the planet after completing their mission. They are only a few weeks away from planet Vegeta. Beep. Spatial disturbance has been found, please reroute. Beep. Beep. Spatial disturbance has been found, please reroute. Beep. Beep. Spatial disturbance has been found, please reroute. Beep. 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 Imminent danger ahead, reroute immediately. Beep. Beep. After the warnings have gone off twice, the Saiyans were forcefully awakened from their slumber. Onan-ugh. What is going on? We shouldn't be on planet Vegeta yet. Zuxi-ugh. What the hell? Who awakened me from my slumber? After the two Saiyans have become fully awake, they immediately become alert hearing those warning sirens. Beep. Beep. Imminent danger ahead, reroute immediately. Beep. 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 Imminent danger ahead, reroute immediately. Beep. Beep. Zuxi-dear, can you hear me? If you can, tell me how bad the situation is. Onan-well, the situation is honestly as bad as it could get. If we are lucky, we might just end up in a different sector of the galaxy, and if we are unlucky, the space will just shred our space pods and bodies to dust. Zuxi-shit. Can we do anything? Onan, not that I know of, dear, let's just hope we survive this. As the two Saiyans were getting devoured by the space anomaly, they suddenly disappeared as if they were never there, to begin with. Let us just hope they have survived. Somewhere far away from the two Saiyans' last appearance, you can see a very dried and desert-like plant with an unpleasant atmosphere. Looking closer, you can see a small city inhabited by a few different races, but more than 90% of the planet's population is of beings who stand on 2 feet, have brown tails, and all of the crazy spiky black hair. They are the Saiyans, the same race as Zuxi and Onan. At the center of the city, you have a palace-like structure in which you can only assume that the ruler or overseer of the city lives. Just outside the palace, you can see an older Saiyan running in a hurry to the palace gates. Saiyan-shit. How can 2 elite-level Saiyan space pods just disappear from the radar like that? The last message I received was about a spatial disturbance. Shit, hopefully, they are fine, they are a strong duo. After the Saiyans reached the gate, he was stopped by 2 Saiyans guards, blocking the entrance. Saiyan guard halt. Who are you, and why have you come to see the king? If it is not an emergency, you will not be allowed access. Saiyan I am the leader of the Saiyan transmission group, and I have just lost signal from the Saiyans named Zuxi and Onan while they were on their trip back here. I need to report this to His Highness. After hearing what was spoken by the Saiyan in front of him, his eyes went wide, and he thought he heard wrong for a second. He was about to ask the Saiyan a second time. The Saiyan got irritated and yelled at him. Saiyan move already. I need to tell King Vegeta about the disappearance of Zuxi and Onan, or you will be responsible for not allowing me to report vital information to King Vegeta. After hearing that, the Saiyan guards immediately moved away and opened the gate for the Saiyan. After the Saiyan guards made way for the Saiyan, he quickly moved through the hallway and came to a somewhat graceful door with some gold markings of what looked to be a giant ape with a tail looking at the full moon. After getting to the door, the Saiyan stopped to clean his attire to look presentable to the king of all Saiyans. Knock. After knocking twice, the Saiyan waited 5 minutes before he heard a somewhat irritated and angry voice coming from inside. You can enter. After hearing that, the Saiyan slowly opened the doors and walked across a red carpet towards a man with very spiky hair pointing towards the sky along with a widow's peak. The man was sitting on a throne at a higher level than the ground. He was leaning on his arm that was resting on the side of his throne. After walking enough distance, the Saiyan stopped and kneeled before King Vegeta. King Vegeta dashed tell what you deemed so important that I must hear it immediately, and it better be good or I will have someone else take your job. The Saiyan hearing what King Vegeta said got a little nervous, but he came here to inform him so he must follow through. Saiyan dash I have just lost signal with the space pods carrying the Saiyan Zuxi and Onan while they were on their trip back home. The last transmission before I lost signal was this King. Beep. Beep. Imminent danger ahead, reroute immediately. Beep. Beep. After hearing what the Saiyan said, the King got interested in what the Saiyan had said. King Vegeta dash oh, so we have lost signal from those two. That is indeed very alarming, tell me what you think has happened. Saiyan dash I think the two could have been shot by space pirates or other enemies, but I highly doubt that considering no one is stupid enough to mess around in Frisia's territory, and the chances of their ship malfunctioning are extremely low considering those are brand new space pods from the Frisia force, so my best guess would be that they have encountered a space anomaly. When King Vegeta heard the name Frisia, you could see the anger he had for him on his face. Realizing that he is not here, he took a minute to calm down and started pondering in silence. King Vegeta dash continue with your job and report back if you find anything about Zuxi or Onan. Saiyan dash yes my king. Standing up, the Saiyan turned around and walked back out of the throne room, not forgetting to shut the throne doors on his way out. King Vegeta dash Finally, about time for that woman to have died. She was getting too powerful for my taste, she might have tried to dethrone me later. But that Onan was really a waste to have died. Oh well, nothing we can do about that. But then again, with my son's potential of a power level of 2000, it will be only a matter of time before he surpasses me, and then with his help, we will finally crush that bastard Frisia, take all his force, and become the emperor of the universe. Ha 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 ha. Dash I don't know how long it's been, but I have finally made some progress on sensing my ki. Now the only problem is going to be manipulating it, and that is going to be extremely tough. Still, considering that my soul has been bathed in that energy, I hope it has increased my talent and comprehension to ki-related matters. Dash feeling around, I notice that this time I have a body of some sort. I can't move around much, but I should only be a month or two away from being birthed. I can't wait. Somewhere in the deep darkness of space, you can see what looks like two comets shooting through space, one only slightly ahead of the other one. But of course, it is just the parents of our soon-to-be-born MC. It has been about 4.5 months since our two Saiyans left the planet after completing their mission. They are only a few weeks away from planet Vegeta. Beep. Spatial disturbance has been found, please reroute. Beep. Beep. Spatial disturbance has been found, please reroute. Beep. Beep. Spatial disturbance has been found, please reroute. Beep. 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 Imminent danger ahead, reroute immediately. Beep. Beep. After the warnings have gone off twice, the Saiyans were forcefully awakened from their slumber. Onan-ugh. What is going on? We shouldn't be on planet Vegeta yet. Zuxi-ugh. What the hell? Who awakened me from my slumber? After the two Saiyans have become fully awake, they immediately become alert hearing those warning sirens. Beep. Beep. Imminent danger ahead, reroute immediately. Beep. 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 Imminent danger ahead, reroute immediately. Beep. Beep. Zuxi-dear, can you hear me? If you can, tell me how bad the situation is. Onan-well, the situation is honestly as bad as it could get. If we are lucky, we might just end up in a different sector of the galaxy, and if we are unlucky, the space will just shred our space pods and bodies to dust. Zuxi-shit. Can we do anything? Onan, not that I know of, dear, let's just hope we survive this. As the two Saiyans were getting devoured by the space anomaly, they suddenly disappeared as if they were never there, to begin with. Let us just hope they have survived. Somewhere far away from the two Saiyans' last appearance, you can see a very dried and desert-like plant with an unpleasant atmosphere. Looking closer, you can see a small city inhabited by a few different races, but more than 90% of the planet's population is of beings who stand on 2 feet, have brown tails, and all of the crazy spiky black hair. They are the Saiyans, the same race as Zuxi and Onan. At the center of the city, you have a palace-like structure in which you can only assume that the ruler or overseer of the city lives. Just outside the palace, you can see an older Saiyan running in a hurry to the palace gates. Saiyan-shit. How can two elite-level Scion space pods just disappear from the radar like that? The last message I received was about a spatial disturbance. Shit, hopefully, they are fine, they are a strong duo. After the Scions reached the gate, he was stopped by two Scions guards, blocking the entrance. Scion guard, halt. Who are you, and why have you come to see the king? If it is not an emergency, you will not be allowed access. Scion, I am the leader of the Scion transmission group, and I have just lost signal from the Scions named Zuxi and Onan while they were on their trip back here. I need to report this to His Highness. After hearing what was spoken by the Scion in front of him, his eyes went wide and he thought he heard wrong for a second. He was about to ask the Scion a second time, the Scion got irritated and yelled at him. Scion, move already. I need to tell King Vegeta about the disappearance of Zuxi and Onan, or you will be responsible for not allowing me to report vital information to King Vegeta. After hearing that, the Scion guards immediately moved away and opened the gate for the Scion. After the Scion guards made way for the Scion, he quickly moved through the hallway and came to a somewhat graceful door with some gold markings of what looked to be a giant ape with a tail looking at the full moon. After getting to the door, the Scion stopped to clean his attire to look presentable to the king of all Scions. Knock, knock. After knocking twice, the Scion waited 5 minutes before he heard a somewhat irritated and angry voice coming from inside. You can enter. After hearing that, the Scion slowly opened the doors and walked across a red carpet towards a man with very spiky hair pointing towards the sky along with a widow's peak. The man was sitting on a throne at a higher level than the ground. He was leaning on his arm that was resting on the side of his throne. After walking enough distance, the Scion stopped and kneeled before King Vegeta. King Vegeta, tell what you deemed so important that I must hear it immediately, and it better be good or I will have someone else take your job. The Scion, hearing what King Vegeta said, got a little nervous, but he came here to inform him, so he must follow through. Scion, I have just lost signal with the space pods carrying the Scion Zuxi and Onan while they were on their trip back home. The last transmission before I lost signal was this, King. Beep. Beep. Imminent danger ahead, reroute immediately. Beep. Beep. After hearing what the Scion said, the king got interested in what the Scion had said. King Vegeta, oh, so we have lost signal from those two. That is indeed very alarming. Tell me what you think has happened. Scion, I think the two could have been shot by space pirates or other enemies, but I highly doubt that, considering no one is stupid enough to mess around in Frisia's territory, and the chances of their ship malfunctioning are extremely low considering those are brand new space pods from the Frisia force, so my best guess would be that they have encountered a space anomaly. When King Vegeta heard the name Frisia, you could see the anger he had for him on his face. Realizing that he is not here, he took a minute to calm down and started pondering in silence. King Vegeta, continue with your job and report back if you find anything about Zuxi or Onan. Scion, yes my king. Standing up, the Scion turned around and walked back out of the throne room, not forgetting to shut the throne doors on his way out. King Vegeta, Finally, about time for that woman to have died. She was getting too powerful for my taste. She might have tried to dethrone me later. But that Onan was really a waste to have died. Oh well, nothing we can do about that. But then again, with my son's potential of a power level of 2000, it will be only a matter of time before he surpasses me, and then with his help, we will finally crush that bastard Frisia, take all his force, and become the emperor of the universe. Ha 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 ha. What is all that roaring I hear? And all this shaking around? Is my mother in a fight? She is fighting this close to giving birth? I know Scions love fighting, but this is insane. Going back to the two Scions, after they found out what kind of planet they are on, they decided they would kill all the beasts in a 100 kilometers range of their space pod. But to do that, they would first have to adapt to the gravity on this planet, which, while tough, was not a problem for these two Scions. In 1 week, they could already move normally. Now here comes the hard part, defeating those beasts with high power, and the only way for them to do that is to use the space pod's projection ability, which projects a moon in the atmosphere, which will allow them to turn into an Ozaru. After they got used to the gravity, they decided it was time and started hunting the few beasts that they could defeat without turning into an Ozaru. Which wasn't even 10 before they had to stop. Zuxi, okay Onan, I'm about to turn on the projection, so get ready. Onan, yeah, just do it already. Saying that, Zuxi pressed the button and made sure to look towards the ground, making sure she didn't transform. Onan looked up to see that there was a false moon, and after looking at it for a few seconds, his heart started beating loudly. So loudly, in fact, it sounded like a small explosion with each heartbeat. While this was taking place, Onan's body started heating up, his eyes turned red and he started growing hair all over his body. Slowly his body started to grow from the original 2 meters, 4 meters, 7 meters, 9, 12, 15, 19. And it finally stopped after reaching 20 meters in height. Onan-RAHHHHHH. Onan's roar was so powerful that huge blasts of wind shot out from the center. Below you could see Zuxi grabbing her ears from how loud that roar was. Zuxi, shut up. Your loud-ass roar has made me hear nothing but ringing. When Onan hears, he looks down at his wife and realizes he might have gone a bit over the top with his transformation. Onan, sorry about that, dear, it has just been a few years since the last time I have transformed. Just when he was about to continue talking, he heard several roars in the distance. And while none of them could compare to his earlier roar, there were several of them, and they sounded angry. Zuxi, good going, dear, you just let everyone know where we are. So hurry up and take care of them or I will transform too. Onan, okay, I will be back soon. After saying that, Onan left in the direction where he heard the roars to go and defeat them. Minutes later, he walks into a small clearing to come face to face with 4 beasts about half his size. There is one wolf-like creature, except he has 2 tails and a horn on his head. Another one is a dark black crow with 3 legs instead of 2. The third beast is a bull with 3 large horns, 2 horns on each side of his head and the other in the middle of his skull pointing straight at me. And the last beast is another slime-like creature, except far, far bigger than the one he and Zuxi came across last time. Onan, these must be the 4 beasts in the scan earlier that had a power level above 100,000. This could get tricky. Seeing how they teamed up against me, they must have some form of intelligence, but not much seeing how they look like they want to fight each other. After standing there for several seconds, the bull must have gotten irritated as he started charging towards Onan. Onan, seeing this, started running towards the bull and reached out his arms and grabbed his horns, effectively stopping his charge. Seeing this as a chance, the 3-legged crow swooped down from above on top of Onan. Seeing the charge made by the crow, he opened his mouth and fired a highly condensed ki blast right toward the crow. The crow barely manages to dodge out of the way, leaving only some of his feathers to get singed off. Onan, seeing this, did a spin while still holding on to the bull and threw the bull toward the crow. The crow, who was flustered from barely managing to dodge an attack that could have put him out of the fight, noticed the bull flying towards him but couldn't dodge in time, and both of them ended up colliding and skidding across the ground. Onan looks to the other 2 beasts, but only seeing the slime made him realize he lost track of the wolf. Looking around, he doesn't see anything until his instincts that he has achieved from many deadly battles flares up, and he hurriedly turns around and puts his guard up, barely managing to block the claw swipe from the wolf. The wolf, seeing this, quickly backs away before getting caught and slowly vanishes into the dark forest. While it may seem as if the wolf left, Onan can sense he is still waiting for the right time to attack again. He also realizes that he can't use his full strength against those 3 other beasts if he is constantly worrying about getting sneak attacked. Onan, seeing how the bull and the crow are still trying to get off each other, runs to the slime and doesn't attack him physically like he did with the other slime. Instead, he charges up a massive ki wave in his mouth, and when fully charged, he unleashes it on the slime at point-blank range. The slime, now engulfed in the massive ki wave, releases a loud shriek that continued for a while and slowly died down along with the ki wave Onan released. Onan, looking down, sees no trace of the slime, along with anything his ki wave touched in the distance. Onan turns around and sees how the bull and crow are now more cautious around him and realizes it will be harder to get the wolf to attack now that they saw how he took down one of them in one attack. Onan, they have become wary of me. This will make the battle longer than it needs to be. How about I just fake exhaustion? These beasts may not be the smartest, but they should be able to tell when a creature is weakened. Onan then suddenly starts panting heavily and walks towards the bull and the crow, and they start another round of battle. The 2, seeing how the big beast is now slower than before and is heavily panting, get more confident and start fighting harder. As the fighting continues, it looks like Onan is getting pushed back slowly, as it is only a matter of time before he is defeated by the crow and bull combo. Onan, it has already been 2 minutes and the wolf still hasn't made a move. It seems this wolf is more cautious than the other 2. I will probably have to take a hit and fake an injury for the wolf to attack again. Onan, deciding on a plan, suddenly misses to block a claw strike from the crow and is hit and pushed back a little. Onan, following along with his plan, gets on one knee and starts heavily panting like he is purposely showing weakness. The wolf in the shadows actually did not leave but was instead watching from the shadows and looking for another chance to strike when he saw the big beast miss a block from the crow, resulting in the beast starting to bleed from the wound. Seeing the beast get on one knee and start heavily panting, decided the perfect chance to attack was now and dashes from the shadows to the beast as fast as he can. The wolf right behind him brings his paw up and gets ready to strike when the beast suddenly turns around. Onan, sensing the beast right behind him, immediately turns around and wraps his arms around the wolf and brings him close. The wolf, panicking seeing as he was now trapped, tried to claw to get away, but it didn't work. Onan, seeing this, laughs in his mind, then he uses all the power and muscle in his arms to squeeze, and all you can hear is snapping noises and the wolf whimpering when suddenly a loud crack happens and the wolf becomes silent. Seeing how the wolf is now dead, Onan lets go of the body and lets it drop to the floor, causing dirt to move away. Turning around, all he sees is two scared beasts looking at him like he is some kind of monster. 5 minutes later, it has gone all quiet. Onan, seeing the dead bodies, decides to carry them back to the pods where Zuxi is staying currently. Looking at the side of a mountain, you could see an entrance to a cave, and if you were to explore said cave you would eventually hear grunting sounds along with a voice that sounds anxious but excited at the same time. In the same room as where the voices are coming from, you would see a man trying to help and soothe what looks like a woman that is going through child labor. Zuxi all the women I have talked to said giving birth was easy, so tell me, why am I having a hard time, you bastard? Saying all that, Zuxi grabs the man's hands and starts to squeeze with a lot of force, which causes the man to wince in pain. Onan-ow. Dear, calm down, calm down. I have heard from the doctors before we left to go for the mission that the higher the power level the tougher it is on the mother, but I have never heard of a woman struggling to give birth before. Zuxi-I am not struggling to give birth. After saying that, Zuxi starts grunting louder with Onan helping her. About 30 minutes later, you could see Zuxi holding a baby, almost completely covered in black fur except for his face and some of his chest. Even his tail is far longer than a normal Saiyan's. Onan-are you fine? Zuxi-ha. Yeah, just exhausted. We are not having another child, understand? Zuxi- but why does he look so different from a normal Saiyan? Completely covered in black fur and his tail is twice as long as Saiyan's. Now that the child is born, Onan can finally get a good look at his child and realizes that everything Zuxi said was true, surprised. He thinks for a moment and then remembers something he overheard one of the doctors say. Onan-he most likely has gone through a mutation, which in turn has changed his characteristics from a normal Saiyan to what he is now. Zuxi-mutation? Is it harmful to him? Onan-don't know. It could be helpful or harmful. We will just have to wait and see, as we don't have any proper medical equipment. Saying all that, the cave room descends into silence before Zuxi says something important. Zuxi- what shall we name him? Onan- how about Taro? Zuxi- nope, I don't like it. What about Pick? Onan- to bland. Oh, I got one, how about Sage? Zuxi- Sage. Ha 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 ha, I love it. It's perfect, he will be my little sage. Onan, seeing how happy Zuxi is, has a small smile on his face. But remembers something, so he leaves the room and comes back a minute later with his scouter to check Sage's power level. Onan- watch out, I want to check our son's power level. Zuxi hears that, gets excited, but then she looks down and sees the state she is in. Zuxi- wait, not yet, let me go clean myself first. Here, hold Sage, I will be back in 5 minutes. After saying that, stands up and gives Sage to Onan to hold and leave. Onan, looking down, sees Sage sleeping just after being born and smiles. 5 minutes later, Zuxi comes back and catches Onan smiling while looking at Sage. Zuxi- I see someone is having a good time with my Sage. Onan- he is my child too. Saying that, Onan puts Sage down on the makeshift bed full of leaves and starts scanning his power level. Scanning, 50, 120, 500, 1, 300, 2, 500, 4, 000, 7, 00, 10, 000, 14, 000, 19, 000, 22, 000, 25, 000, beep. Target scanned, power level, 25, 000. HAAA, it is boring and lonely here. When will I be born? And even after meditating for so long, I can completely sense my ki, but manipulating it is a completely different matter altogether. After thinking for a while, Starts to feel some movement and after a while, sees a bright light coming from one end. Yes. It looks like it's finally time to be born. Here I come, new life. I hope it's amazing and filled with excitement. Thinking about that? Starts slowly moving to the white light. After moving for a while, finally has exited the hole and is now being bathed with such bright light that blacks out from the sudden exposure of light. A while later, wakes up to see a man and woman looking at him while talking, when suddenly hears the women announce something. Woman - his name will be Sage. Sage, huh? So my name is Sage, after the plant. Yep, this is definitely a Saiyan name, but I like it. Sage. Then Sage sees his mother give him to who he can only assume is his father. After a few minutes getting started at by his father while smiling, which kinda creeped him out. After my mother comes back, my father then walks over and sets me down on something covered in leaves and watches as his parents stand next to each other. Then gets confused why their eyes keep opening wider and wider. Thinking about it, he looks at his father and sees a scouter on his face. Sage-o. They must be scanning my power level, no wonder they are surprised. Considering what I am, my power level might be even higher than theirs. A few minutes later, after my parents have calmed down, my mother walks over to pick me up and proceeds to remove her shirt and bring Sage's face to her left breast. Sage, damn. I forgot I asked to be born on an isolated planet. So there is no incubator for me to sleep and grow in. I have the mind of a grown adult, yet I am drinking my mother's milk. How embarrassing. Even though Sage was thinking that his child body had other plans. After about 2 minutes of drinking milk, Sage finished and was just laying in his mother's embrace, thinking about how embarrassing his situation is. Sage, now that I think of it, what is my parents' name? I haven't been paying attention to their conversation at all. Zuxi-Onan, do you have any idea why Sage's power level is so high? Onan - no idea, but if I had to guess it would be because of the mutation. Zuxi - anyway, we have been on this planet for about a month, scan me to see if my power has improved. Onan, hearing that, starts scanning her. Scanning, target scanned, power level 25,000. Zuxi hears that, gets amazed and excited, thinking she can continue to grow in power by staying on this planet. Zuxi - hahaha. An increase of 2,000 in just a month. I have never had such a fast increase in strength before. Maybe getting stuck here wasn't so bad after all. Onan, seeing Zuxi's power level, gets surprised and decides to scan himself, a little hopeful that maybe he had such a big increase in strength as well. Scanning, target scanned, power level 22,000. Onan, seeing the increased, smiles, knowing he has gotten stronger as well. Sage, so my parents' name is Onan and Zuxi. Those are definitely Saiyan names. Huh, I am getting tired. It must be because I am just a newborn. Anyways, I am going to sleep. With that, Sage RMC has just experienced his first day of his new life. What will he do? Will Sage fight for thrill or to protect his parents? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. If you want to support me, check out my Patreon at https://www.patreon.com/Kaioshin. I tend to polls that decide important plot stuff in my P at Trian. Many thanks to my awesome patrons. Wilnet Duverne. Ben Phillips. If you liked the content, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I'll stay here until next time.